Hey fellas, how you doing? It's Johnny. Sorry, listen, in this video I want to give you not methods, I want to give you 3 things that I did to overcome my social anxiety. Bear in mind this has been over a decade, but don't panic. It's not going to take you 10 years to overcome your social anxiety. It took me a long time. I had lots of insecurities, and I didn't have all the videos that are available now on YouTube, and there wasn't teachers like myself at the time, talking about social anxiety. It was something you just didn't even speak about. I just thought I had this shyness. So the reason why I wanted to do this video, one is because I wanted it to help people, and it makes me feel good. I'm justifying why I'm doing the video. Another reason why is because I want to sell you my product. I want to sell you my 30-day anxiety program. Obviously, if you want to buy it and you think it's of value and it's going to help you. But I also want to give a lot of value in this video. I'm going to go through 3 things, or 3 ways, the things that I did. Another reason why I wanted to do this video, because I've been coaching a guy who's a friend of mine now on my 6 weeks program. And we've got the last day tomorrow because he flew over. He's been working with me. I've been working with tons of people with social anxiety. And the sticking point that people have is the same sticking point that I have. And that's what I want to talk about, what massively helped me. And this is going to relate to my anxiety program, and then I'm going to cover some more advanced stuff. So I'd say the first reason is, and I know this is really obvious, it's almost insulting, people don't want to speak to people when they've got social anxiety. And I totally understand. When I had it, I was so embarrassed of it. It was actually emotionally, physically painful for me to speak. There's no word of exaggeration. So I'm not sure where you're at, but you might be there. And I just couldn't handle the feelings, how it made me feel. One of the things I didn't like, and I've seen with people, I hated looking embarrassed. I hated people seeing me suffer. It made me furious. It made me angry. And it made me feel weak. It made me feel less of a person. So for many years, I put off the whole aspect of trying to overcome it. And what I did was, of course, I rationalised my anxiety, and I did a lot of, my behaviours were quite addictive. I did escapism. So this is the thing I see a lot. But the main area I'm going to explain to you is what people have been struggling with prior to working with me in the first session. People don't like feeling uncomfortable, and I didn't. But to overcome social anxiety, in my experience, now I'm not going to say I'm 100%, but I'm going to say 99.9, because I've been teaching this for the best part of almost 5 years, or strictly 2 years, but before that I was doing dating coaching. It was very similar, people with anxiety around relationships and speaking to people. I took so long to overcome mine because I was ashamed of it, and I didn't want to feel those uncomfortable feelings that came up. I'll describe the feelings. It was like I felt like I was in shock. So if I was to go and try and meet new people, I'd freeze up, and it would be like I'm in shock. I'm so afraid I can't speak. And then sometimes I could get past that, but my words would be like, I'll be really talking fast like this. Can you see? I'll be like, I'm Jonathan, and and I live in this area, and and that's how anxious I was, and that embarrassed me. And I could always see people obviously noticed it, unless they had anxiety, but a lot of times they noticed it, and then I felt embarrassed, and it sort of knocked my confidence, and I stopped going out to social events. It got really frustrating because people would invite me out, and I remember at the time in my early 20s I was excited because my friends would say there's going to be girls there's going to be a party, and I'd say I was going to go, and when it got close to it I'd cancel out. It's too much fear. Another thing that I hated is I overanalyze social situations too much. If someone said something to me, I'll be thinking, what do they mean by that? Were they being nice? Were they trying to manipulate me? I was really paranoid, and it's very common with social anxiety. So my mind was not healthy. I had an unhealthy mind, a little bit of mental illness, I would say, and I was really nervous around people, and probably too hard on myself. And I reclused for many years. I just stayed around my small social circle, family. But as I started to work on it, I actually realised socially how bad I was. And it's weird because you're probably feeling the same. I was actually a sociable person, but it's because I was afraid. So the actual fear that it brought up in me, physically, biologically, it made me think, I don't want to feel that. And then that caused me to have panic attacks, depression. So I started to realise later on when I started to teach people that if you suffer social anxiety, it's kind of with you all the time. So for example, if you're by yourself and you have it, it's still going on in your body and your mind. There's a story usually. Obviously when you meet people, it ignites it, it brings it up. And I always think that was a bad thing, but that's actually a good thing. I learned from overcoming it myself, and a lot of practice, counselling, talking to lots of people. If you've been following me, you'd have known that. And when I started to teach people, I would see the exact same patterns. People have it at different extremes. I work with people, some have it really bad, to the point where some people can be nervous when they first meet me. Some people don't come out the house. Some people are complex, they're quite confident, but they're quite self-conscious, and they want to build more their confidence. So people suffer it at different measures. I had it really bad. I had it where I couldn't make eye contact. You'd never in a million years get me doing a YouTube video. You couldn't pay me to do it. I couldn't do public speaking. I was embarrassed walking down the street. So the 30-day anxiety program, it tackles that part of anxiety, the practical element, going out, saying hello to people, simple, small conversations, getting relaxed in public. So this is something you'd get from the program if you decide to buy it. If you don't buy it, that's completely fine. I'm going to give you the next lot of things. The second element I would say was probably working on my lifestyle, something that I really neglected at the start. What I did was, and a lot of men and my friends around me at the time did this, and obviously when I was a dating coach and at that time I was a pickup artist, I just placed all of my self-esteem with getting better with women. And that did help me, but that actually affected me in other areas, because I started to lose touch, kind of building intimate relationships, friendships, with men, and my family relationships started to decline. I started to feel a bit uncomfortable with family, because my personality was growing in one area, so I wasn't practicing congruency, which is the spiritual aspect of what I teach, what I was really influenced by with my mentor. I wasn't really, being myself with everyone. I was changing dramatically. I know that we all change to some extent. When we meet new people, sometimes we're a bit different until we get relaxed. That's quite normal, but I was changing dramatically. And this was a defensive mechanism. So the spiritual aspect, a lot of what Eckhart Tolle teaches, I've said it before, my mentor, Jeff Thompson, lots of other spiritual teachers that really, and even psychologists like Sigmund Freud, Carl Jung, they really focus on identifying your authentic self and kind of going through this personal inquiry. This is more the latter stuff I did. I probably wouldn't recommend this for a complete beginner, because it's very, very painful, tiring work, and it's actually the teaching I do now, but it's brilliant when you're ready to do that, and that's really healing your psyche, dealing with past trauma, which is that's what social anxiety is attributed to. It comes from a trauma, bullying, dysfunctional relationships, abuse from family, sexual abuse, physical abuse, neglect. So these are kind of the areas that I feel. I mean, you could tackle it straight away if you felt ready and you felt you needed a counsellor, and that's the work I do on the 6 weeks program. But for most people who've just got some anxiety or shyness, it would be wise to go out and to practice what's in the anxiety program, which is saying hello to people, getting your breathing right, getting into state, just really simple movements. What usually happens is, when you do that, it will inspire you to go deeper, because as much as I would like to say you can overcome social anxiety in a week, you can't, and I wish I could say that, and I know I'm a teacher and people expect that. But that hasn't been the case for me. It hasn't been the case, and with working with people, it's took at least 12 weeks to help people to overcome it, and that's with them practicing outside the programs. I've done it in 6 weeks, but that's been usually with people that are actually working on themselves a lot. So it's still, they've still got to go through the gears, but they've kind of done a lot of work. So depending on where you're at, you're going to need different things. But so the 3 things were the practical element, which is in my anxiety program, going out speaking to people, lifestyle, which is your fashion, hobbies, your work, your diet, training, fitness, anything that's going to make you feel more attractive and build your self-esteem. And then the third, and I feel the last stage, is the spiritual aspect, is alignment, congruency. And this is if you really want to take your personal development serious. I never planned to get into this area of development when I first started, because I just wasn't ready for it, and I wasn't a spiritual person back then. I had some faith in God, but I didn't realise how powerful the spiritual stuff is. But all of them compensate one another. So sometimes I say to people the spiritual stuff is the best. And students will say to me, well, you know, back then you wasn't saying that. This really helped people. This is where you are now. And that's true. Sometimes, you know, I say that out of ignorance. It's where I'm at now. But where you're at and where students are at, it could be at the, you know, the earlier stages. But I would say combining those three is it's not my secret, but that's how I overcome social anxiety. I'll just go through it again. So I did the practical stuff. I spoke to lots of women. I did a lot of dating. You don't have to do that, you can. And if you're a woman watching this is going to be the same for you. So I did lots of one-on-one socialising, and I did a lot of that actually by teaching, because when I first started to teach I had quite a lot of social anxiety, and that actually helped me to help other people. It got me more confident teaching other people. So you might want to think about finding a way that you can, you know, design a group yourself and help other people. Helping other people is always a great way for self-esteem. And secondly, the lifestyle, like, all right, this is not my best sort of fashion, but what I'm wearing now, this was really fashionable 2 years ago. When I first wore a leather jacket, I was really self-conscious because I never used to dress smart, but when I started to fix my fashion, it did massively help my confidence. It wasn't, you know, you can't just rely on that, but combining it with going out speaking to people. So the kind of not an unwritten rule, but lost my words now. The sort of, the sequence, how I did it was going out speaking to women, speaking to men, and again, if you're a woman, vice versa, just speaking to lots of people. And I think there's a huge buzz out of talking to strangers. I think part of our psychology as humans, we're quite afraid of strangers because we're always worried about what they think, will they judge us. But there's also a real freedom there, because sometimes there's an old saying, it's easier to speak to a stranger than it is to a close friend. Because I know for myself, sometimes I can feel less judged with new people because I might not see them again, and the excitement, and I think it's exciting. So the anxiety program helps you speak to strangers. So it's really developing you in all these areas, and it's entirely up to you how far you want to take this. I've always been really dedicated with stuff. I've been lazy to start with, but social anxiety, I'm super passionate about it because it held me back for many years and it's transformed my life. I'm very grateful for having it, and it came from my childhood trauma, and I've been able to heal that with a teacher myself of counselling, and through my own and through actually helping other people. That also helped me back to help other people. So these are the three areas. So you could get the anxiety program now, practice that, work on your fashion, your fitness, lifestyle, eating, I suppose sleeping. There's probably more areas to delve into than the spiritual aspect. And again, I don't mean spiritual necessarily in a religion or a god. That's fine if you want to do that. I'm more talking about the individual aspect of spirituality, like meditation, practicing presence. There's a thing called the observer, and my mentor really helped me with that. It was brilliant, which is an authentic part of us that is not our personality, but it sits at the back of our soul, and we can develop that through meditation, through concentration, and through doing things that we love. And that can actually help you to not identify with negative thoughts. You know, sometimes you might be in a conversation with someone, or you might be on your way to go somewhere, and then you might get thoughts coming up, say, oh, I shouldn't go to the event, people might not like me, what are they going to think about me, what if this happens, what time is it going to finish, is it worth it? That's just ego chatter. So if you develop your observer, you can observe these thoughts in your head, and this is so important for social anxiety, but you don't have to identify with them. Because if I say, well, there's no point me making YouTube videos, I'm tired, I might as well get some rest, and I was tired today, as you can probably see. Or if I keep saying that, I won't get anything done, I start feeling not good about myself, my state will drop. But if I say, no, actually, I'm not going to listen to those voices, that's not actually really what I want to do. I want to do the videos, or I want to go out and do a new job, or publicly speak, whatever it is that makes you feel good. This grows you massively, spiritually, confidence. I can't explain to you what the spiritual aspect has done. But yeah, my student was right. If I didn't do the practical stuff, the spiritual stuff, it probably wouldn't have been that effective. I wouldn't have been ready for it. It would have just felt a bit too spiritual and too emotional. But you combine the three together over time, and it's a deadly cocktail, and it'll work. So again, it's the practical element of speaking to people, lifestyle, and spirituality, meditation, prayer, worship, however you do that, breathing, observation, developing authentic self, being able to identify pain bodies, which you can learn more about from Eckhart Tolle. So I hope this is going to help. So if you want to buy my 30-day anxiety program, start with the first step, click the link below, and you'll be able to get it there. And I think this is really going to help you, and you'll appreciate this. And if you didn't get the program, that's completely fine. You can put these free things into practice yourself, and you can watch all the videos on my YouTube channel, and I've got a members area as well. So there's no excuse really. You've got all the material from me. I've overcome my anxiety. I help people all the time, a 6 weeks program, and I can't tell you how good you're going to feel. But the last thing I'm going to leave you with, and because I just feel there's not that much online about social anxiety. I've done a lot of research myself because I always want to learn more so I can be a better teacher, and anything more I can learn, I'll learn. I've seen a few videos here and there from bloggers, but most of the articles are, you know, it's all about the symptoms, but they're not really explaining how to overcome it. And what I've just gave you there is actually my own experience, what I use to not just become a teacher, publicly speak, improve my relationships, build my own self-confidence. This has helped me in every single area of my life. It's helped me in areas that I wouldn't even have imagined it could, like business, even dealing with stress, anxiety, and being able to help other people. Just every little mundane thing and the bigger things. And it's really inspired me to want to go on to do more things. And I started off probably like you, watching this video, a really shy person, a bit of a people pleaser, always holding back. And now I would say what I sort of consider a confident introvert. I'm naturally quite relaxed.
You look nice, have a nice day. I love your outfit. You girls look beautiful, have a nice day. Oh, you look nice. Oh, you look nice, nice dress. Oh, you look beautiful.